Okay, so we are live. All right. Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have with me another Avengers Assemble moment for IGDC. I have with me a board member and chairperson of Jedi as well as Machaya. And we are here to answer all your questions related to this year's IGDC. So I would love to give the stage to Manish sir to get started with the introduction, and then we'll naturally start with the AMA. So over to you, Manish sir.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Nikhil. Pleasure. This is an AMA coming out from the community. There were lots of questions coming individually, so we thought it's better that we have Shri, Machaya, myself answer all these questions in one place. Those who have logged in, thank you very much for that. And those who have not, we promise to create question-wise clips, and we'll post it. And that is where we will do it. Shri, anything which you want to add, we can. Otherwise, we can get started.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep it conversational. At a high level, we'll brief you guys what's happening with the IGDC this year, and then we could keep it open-ended.
So my first and foremost question is for the people who don't know what IGDC is. Mach, can you just give a brief highlight of what IGDC stands for and what is it, when is it held, and in general, some information about IGDC?
Yeah, so hi everybody, this is Machia here. I'm Program Director at the Game Developer Association of India. We are the organizers of the India Game Developer Conference. I'll just tell you in a few words what IGDC is about. It's India's biggest and oldest game developer conference. The 17th edition is scheduled to be held between the 5th to the 7th of November at the Chennai Trade Center in Chennai. But IGDC, more than just a conference, it's a conference by the industry for the industry. And what I mean by that is that for 16 years ago, some of the early pioneers in the video game industry, while they started going to major conferences like GDC and the rest, decided that for them to grow as individual companies, it was also very, very important the ecosystem grew. So they said, hey guys, we're going to GDC. Why don't you create something like that for our Indian ecosystem, right? And that's how IGDC was born back in the days at GDC and then became IGDC. But what's beautiful about this whole thing is that this entire conference is put together by industry volunteers. While I am part of the operations team and I report to the Jedi board, the entire conference put together by industry volunteers. Like Nikhil, for example, helps us marketing. We run about 10 parallel tracks, and all these 10 parallel tracks are put together by industry volunteers who have a day job, who are domain specialists, and we as an operations team tell them, hey, art design, art track team, you've got 8 tracks to fill. Go out and get the speakers. So they go out, they visualize what the ecosystem needs, and they get it done. We do multiple different things, and all of these, the Investor Publisher Connect, the decks are scrutinized by industry volunteers. The awards, the entries are scrutinized by industry volunteers. So all of that we do is actually the industry doing something for the industry. That's why I said.
That's a long spiel. For me, IGDC is I game don't care.
Yeah, I game don't care. That should be the tagline, sir, of IGDC now.
Yeah, Machaya doesn't allow me to put taglines. And then he puts some taglines while we are doing our day jobs, and then that gets finalized.
Yeah. All right, guys. By the way, this is an interactive session, so feel free to chime in all your questions about IGDC this year. With that, let's get started with the next question about what is new at IGDC this year. What can people expect that will be something completely different apart from the venue, of course, at IGDC 2025?
Shri, over to you.
Yeah, well, first of all, let's actually for a second talk about folks who are coming in for the first time. What can they get out of IGDC, right? As much as said, it's the 17th edition, has been here for a very, very long time. My first IGDC was actually here in Hyderabad when we were starting to build free-to-play games, and we wanted to understand economy and all that. There was a lot of questions. This was, I think, 2008. And, I think that was the first IGDC, actually. And there were barely 200 people, but some incredible game designers from Ubisoft were there that year. And they were talking about free-to-play. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to learn. So the timing of the talk was amazing. And I was like, they were learning too. They were like, this is what we discovered. This is what we learned. So that's what IGDC has been for past 17 years, where folks who have been there, done that, sharing their experiences with others, right? So usually, just to talk about some stats, about 4 to 5 thousand game developers all over India, some global, come together once a year, just to share each other's experiences. And we curate talks, like almost like 150 or so panels and talks, and some really top game designers from around the world, product designers, art directors are invited to come. And this year is going to be one of the largest international, speaker group who are coming in. So that's IGDC. What's new? I think we have doubled down on our whole indie initiative. We will dig deeper into that in a minute. Awards has got bigger with a couple of new award categories coming up. IP Connect has got bigger, more publishers, a lot more startups have applied this year. So that's very exciting. Expo is going to be a lot of fun this year. We're going to throw in some esports in there, just to liven it up. We will still focus on developers. So there's a lot going on. So we'll get into details in a minute.
Yeah.
To add, Shri is our chairman, so he's serious. We have a lot of amazing after parties lined up.
I
We will
can
have-
I can vouch for a few that I attended with Manish sir last year. So I'm sure this year it will be even more crazier.
It'll be crazier, it'll be bigger, it'll be fun. Machaya is working to get some star power so that we could kind of really make some statement. And it's not just a random cabaret happening. It is relevant star power, which is coming, which is going to have intersection of real entertainment between gaming, media, sports. How do we really bring it all together? As you all know, gaming has become very prominent from policymakers' point of view, with our PM really kind of giving huge amount of focus on building IPs, video games, social games, whatever name you want to call it. This is going to be a never seen melting pot of policymakers from center, state, all coming together, and an opportunity for Indian gaming ecosystem, indies, global gaming companies, local gaming companies to brainstorm with policymakers who will be captive for a couple of days. And I don't think there can be a better opportunity.
Yeah.
Last but not the least, the excitement which the team has been able to pull up from global, especially Japan, Korea, I think that would be awesome. And to learn from them, because those are far more mature, developed ecosystems, I think it'll be going awesome. So in short, there'll be huge amount of learning, huge amount of fun, and we are going to have a party.
Fantastic. And speaking of the venue right now, let's talk a little bit about the venue. For the last several years, the entire game development community was pretty much comfortable calling Hyderabad their second home for IGDC. So this year that has changed. So my biggest question is, on behalf of the community, why shift IGDC from Hyderabad to Chennai right now?
Because Sridhar was hogging everything here in Hyderabad. That's the simple answer. We were getting very comfortable that it is becoming an Hyderabad show. It's not an India game developer show, and we didn't want H to replace I. So that's a simple reason. But the more relevant answers, I think Shri and Machai can give. I can just create some fun tidbits for you guys. You are on mute.
So the reality was, Chennai we've seen some amazing gaming startups coming out of Chennai, right? I mean, some of the quality of the indie games over there are ridiculous, right? And you've seen they've been winning awards, they've been getting selected in for the Sony hero projects, so there is a lot of excitement in Chennai about video gaming. And it's high time for us also, as Manish said, it's a Indian Game Developer Conference, not just a Hyderabad Game Developer Conference. So we wanted to see if there is a way we can move this conference around a little bit, get exposure in different states, and that's one. And the other thing is also the local government in Tamil Nadu. Again, first of all, I just wanted to say Hyderabad and the local government here has been very, very supportive, incredibly supportive. But the Tamil Nadu government came in with a very exciting offer on how what we can do there. And so we figured it's high time we try different states and see how this event can, get even bigger and reach different people.
Yeah, and Nikhil, I think a lot of this goes back to kudos to the local Jedi chapter of Tamil Nadu, which was super instrumental in soliciting support of government, really bringing the passion to the fore, coming together to really make it a unique experience. That love and passion is what I think drove us, saying that there is an on-ground support, and as Machaya said in his opening, that it's in by industry for industry. So if we can get such amount of love, affection, it was a no-brainer along with the government support and not being making it an HGDC. I think these are all very simple decisions.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll also take a few questions from the chat right now. There are a bunch of questions that people have asked. The first question that we've received is, what is the criteria for selecting the winners for IGDC awards? Can we shed a little bit of light on that part?
Yeah, I mean, there are almost like 11 awards this year, from everything from Best Game of the Year, Best Studio Game of the Year, Indie Game of the Year. We have even branded awards. We've tied up with Women in Gaming organization, so we have a co-branded award coming up. And this year we've introduced 2 new awards where before we used to only have one upcoming game of the year. This year we have a new mobile game or upcoming mobile game of the year, upcoming PC game of the year, right? So some of those are new. Criteria is simple. If you are the best, we have a very independent jury which reviews it. And in that category, if you're the best, you win. That's simple.
Another question is, there's a little bit of confusion on the offerings within the passes, right? So one question that we have received over here is, will we get network lounge access in a delegate pass? And to expand a little bit on that, can we just talk a little bit about the pricing structure this year, about the delegate pass versus what was offered last year, and what's the kind of difference between that?
So traditionally, we've always had a complaint, right? While this is a business event, we wanted it to be accessible to everybody. So there was always this complaint that, are the ticket prices too high, right? They used to be anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000. And so what we decided this year is, what if we let people make it as inexpensive as possible for people to attend IGDC, right? As accessible as possible. So the delegate pass is that, which is basically gives you almost everything. And also we would have a food court where you can buy, we actually have a curation team for food who's been we have WhatsApp group filled with conversations going on. We want this food, that food, right? So there's going to be an array of different kinds of Chennai based or food which people can pick from, and of course they need to pay for it. We'll also have something light you can get free, also complimentary. There is going to be a more elaborate menu for the premium pass, and then obviously the VIP, which gives you access to a couple of exclusive parties, right? Now there was a question around networking launch access. Don't worry, there's going to be plenty of areas where people can network. There will be a couple of exclusive zones for the higher tiered tickets, but there are going to be plenty of places where people can network.
Yeah.
Just to add on what Sridhar said, Nikhil, it's very simple. We want to keep, literally, if our wishes are horses, we want to keep it very minimal so that learning opportunity does not see a friction. The friction of money is the last thing which we wanted to happen. And
Yeah.
we want companies or benefactors to support in that initiative. Gradually, we want more and more Indian companies to come and become sponsors so that they can really give opportunity of many upcoming college students in these to benefit from the knowledge sharing without really bothering about, because they're already spending money in travel and lodge. So we don't want to create that friction,
Yeah.
right? The second thing is the exclusivities are nothing but, very honestly, guys, you all understand, we are all game designers. You have to create whales,
Yeah.
and we all need whales to kind of really help us to run the game economy. Think of it like an IGDC economy, and we need whales, and we have to give something to the whales, some privileges and accesses, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, like you design the game economy, we have to design the game economy of IGDC economy to keep it going. But idea is it has to be a fully freemium model, and that's where we want to go to.
Yeah. Awesome. And now that IGDC has kind of shifted the venue from Hyderabad to Chennai, is there a possibility for newer locations in the future next year? Also, a lot of people don't know about Dev Days. So can we also talk a little bit about Dev Days while talking about the location change and where it's going to be hosted next year?
So let me take that.
Sure.
Nikhil, I don't think we are going to move IGDC next year, right? We want to really build, spread, consolidate, and then figure out. However, it is important that we are also covering length and breadth of the country, which is where different events come into picture. Dev days, game jams, women in gaming, those are some feeders to kind of build into a Mahakumbhaya of IGDC, right? So combination of community. Now, to simple answer to your question is in 3 years, 4 years, if there is another state which is really has overwhelming demand more than the TN community, we will look at it. Because it has to be a community-driven decision rather than a centralized decision. Because if it's for industry, by industry, then industry has to really decide where it needs to be.
Absolutely. Now let's talk a little bit about indies. There is an Indie 40 initiative this year at IGDC, and it's a very noble initiative. So can we have a little bit of introduction about the Indie 40 initiative?
I can take that if you right. So I mean, basically, we've always there was this complaint with IGDC, right? Where we were focusing a little too much on product, we were focusing a little too much on mobile and all that. So for a couple of years, we've been actively as India also develop more PC games and all that. So we've also actively started focusing on indie initiatives. Indie 40 is one of them, where we select about 40 of our most promising indies in India and give them a booth each, right? Absolutely free, where they can demo their games to their peers and others. And here they have access to mentors who can walk up to them and maybe even build a relationship with. We also will give them spotlight, which is basically they can go up on the stage and quickly for a couple of minutes pitch to everybody in the expo area what they're building. So a lot of exposure that way. And out of these 40 indies, we'll also shortlist about 8 of them and put them through a exclusive pitch session with publishers and investors, and hopefully 3 of them will be shortlisted for some award, right? So we will have different awards which they will win at the end of the day, and at the end of the second day. We would also have an exclusive indie mixer, which which all the indies can attend. We This year we have also set aside about 5 indie spots for women in gaming. So we want to encourage more women to build video games, and so this is like reserved for them. At a high level, right now we have over 150 applications in indie space have applied for this plot, so it's growing. So I think maybe we will wait. I'm not sure if you have closed the applications. I'm assuming till Diwali it's open. But Machia, you can.
The award, I mean, the Indie 40 awards applications closed on the 15th, which is today actually, tomorrow. It's because our jury also needs time to play the games, check the games, and also celebrate Diwali in between.
Okay.
So, which is why the 15th is when we close the applications, and also because like people need to get ready to showcase the games, so we want to give them enough leeway to show up their demos, make it better, get their virtual cuts better. So that's what it is. So tomorrow is the last day. So if you haven't applied for the Indie 40 initiative, please do apply. We've discussed some great games for the last couple of years at Indie 40, including like top of mind, like three-dimensional games from Nagaland. We discovered a game from Dehradun last year. So it's a place to be because
Lot of games who were part of this indie initiative ended up getting funded, ended up becoming part of different incubators. You all know which ones are those. So we this is becoming a place for publishers to, or Indian publishers or investors, angels to discover new game developers, which nobody has seen. And this is also has become a way for, if you are an aspiring indie, this is a great way for you to build your own peer network. And that's what we've discovered happens during Indie 40.
Got
So
it.
if you haven't applied for it, please go ahead and apply right away.
Got it. And guys, I'm reading all the chats. I'm just letting the speakers finish their statements. We will definitely come to each of the questions one by one. I have a simple question about Indie 40 once again now. Is that, while it's a great initiative, but, a lot of people are concerned that it might be a little heavy on their pocket. So the question is, are the studios that will be selected for Indie 40s liable to pay any sort of fee or any sort of participation money that they have to pay?
No, absolutely not. It's completely free.
So they will get the
You need to-
booth space
There's
also
no,
for free?
there's no price. You get a couple of tickets free. Everything is free. You just pay for your flight ticket or train ticket or bus ticket to get here.
So essentially, the booth space that they are going to get is going to be completely free. They don't have to pay any single rupee for that.
No.
Wow, that is
yes.
fantastic.
Sorry, just to add, Nikhil, it's a table with give you access with power to showcase the game. If you want a TV, of course, you pay extra, but this table will have access with branding, a space to put up your logo so people know who you are, what you are, and like if you want TV, you pay extra, but also like because of the Indie 40, you get access to the Indie Spotlight, like Sridhar said, in the expo area where you can each person gets 5 minutes to talk about the game. And
Yeah.
also, we have a pool of mentors who work with all of them to see what they need, how they can get better.
Yeah.
I mean, you can customize your space. You have enough space to do something cool with it.
Yeah. There are a couple of questions related to the award section right now. The community kind of wants to understand how we, as the organizing team, are going to deal with biases while selecting the game. So, it's a very strong question, I understand, but it's a question that is popping up a lot in the chat. So, if we could just answer that head on once.
I think, Shri, if you can tell them about juries, diversity of jury, number of jury, the process, that will help, that the normalization of biases is helping.
So usually if bias does happen, but usually when that exists, we ask the person involved to, excuse themselves from it, right? Like, so if you have a game you have submitted and you're also part of a jury, you obviously cannot be, first of all, you cannot be part of the jury if you have a game submitted. But if you're a part of a voluntary team, even in IGDC, then you cannot be part of the process, right? And we have had like some developers who are part of volunteering team, they didn't bother submitting their apps because there was a conflict.
Shri, I think for a lot of people, they may not be aware of jury, number of jury, type of jury members. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, March, actually, you talk about it. Who are they?
Okay, so I'll explain the awards and the indies. We have an industry group of volunteers, about 5 in each of them, 7 in the indies, 7 in the awards. These are people who have basically designed the whole thing with us as an operations team. So from the awards, if you see, it was the industry that said, "Hey guys, we can't have just one upcoming game, considering that a lot more people today in India, upcoming games are being built on PC and not necessarily mobile." So we divided that, for example. So these are inputs that came from the industry. Now, this jury has people who who are given a task to achieve certain things when they shortlist the first round of games. But once the first round of games is shortlisted, this jury has no part in deciding who the eventual winners are, because that will go to an external jury. Now, who are the external jury? The external jury are speakers that we get in from all over the world. These are some of our sponsors and partners. These are some people who are part of our investor publisher connect. Some publishers, some investors, uh, people from other gaming studios, well-established gaming studios in India and abroad. So we have a pool of jury, and normally we also put out the jury members in the end, just before the awards are announced. We put out our last list of juries, always put out, and people know who the jury members were. We don't mention the categories they were part of, but you know who the jury members were, and that's how this all our initiatives are built credibility. Like Sridhar said, one, if you are a part of it, then you can't take part in it, or if you want to take part in it, then you excuse yourself for that particular year, for that particular duty that you're assigned. And once the initial scrutiny is done, then it goes to a wider pool of external jury members. And even in the internal jury members, it's not like there's one group. We have people from all over, right? Like our awards has jury members from indies. The volunteer group is not a jury members, but the volunteer group consists of indies, of companies, uh, and a couple of publishers and investors as well. So the initial volunteer group itself has representatives that are very diverse from all parts of the country and across different specialties.
They're well-known journalists. They're going to be well-known international game developers and designers. So the external jury is all, at least majority international, some Indians. Internal is majority Indian. But then internal is more like a pre-screening. It's not a actual judging which happens. So and then the reason we don't publish jury members in the beginning is because, again, we don't want people to influence them. So that information only comes out once once people have already been selected.
Yeah. So to sum it up,
sorry, Nikhil, and the reason for external speakers, external final jury means that they don't have the local biases. I think that's the very important point, because here, if I know Nikhil, I may be biased, but if there is an international person, broadly, they are not aware of the ecosystem. And that's the assumption. That's why you see a pre-screening and the final thing happening.
yeah. So, guys, to sum it up about the bias question, first and foremost, the jury members, whoever are selected, they are not allowed to participate with their own games, number one. Second part is, these members, they are not revealed at the beginning so that people don't reach out to them and form their own set of biases. The third thing is that beyond the internal jury members, there are external jury members from outside of the country as well that will kind of help decide the final decision for the awards. So essentially, we are completely cutting out the biases by not allowing internal members to participate in the jam, in the award section, and that's how we are kind of tackling it. There's one more interesting question coming from Game Tout is that can we do something, is there some sort of initiative from the government to actually invest in the indies? What are the initiatives that we are taking to support the indies in terms of investment or government support rather?
That's his favorite question of Machaya and Shiv.
So also by the way, Machaya, there are a few fans of your mustache now.
So just to, March, you can go next. Just to at a high level, there are a couple of well-known government-funded incubators already. One in Hyderabad, it's called Image. And then there is one in Northeast, in Mizoram, which gives as much as 25 lakhs per startup, which gets selected there. And that's a very active one. Every 6 months or so, there's a new cohort getting started. It's on to its 5th cohort now. And they fund as much as 4 to 8 startups every cohort. They can fund a lot more if we get applications there. So these are government-sponsored initiatives. Now, central government is still looking at some of the newer initiatives on how to fund indies as well as regular developers, and that's probably going to take a little while. We at JEDI also are working with a lot of state governments to come up with incubators in different states. We have a very detailed process right now on that, where multiple states might have incubators from Tamil Nadu to all the way to Rajasthan, where there might be state-sponsored incubators, and which would include usual incubation process, selecting a cohort through a challenge. The best startups will get the best mentorship, exposure, as well as a grant from the state, right? So those things are happening, and it's going to be tiered in such a way that you go through that initial process, and the few selected, filtered ones graduate to the next category. So we want them to the best to get as much funding as possible, and eventually graduate to be successful, right? So we want incubation program to not be the end game. It should be the stepping stone to you building a successful company. So these incubation programs will give you the exposure needed. Much.
No, just one
Yeah,
thing
so
before my Nikhil, it's important for the community to really understand that these incubation projects with different state governments can be accelerated if there is a local JEDI chapters really working in tandem with Machaya, with policy wing of JEDI, because ultimately it's the community who is to run. Government does not know the industry. It has to be us who will have to really run these incubation centers, really be able to solicit local state applications, curate them, run them. And if the JEDI chapters are not interested, we would be deprioritizing those states and working with states where the chapters have more interest. It's very simple. It's a community has to really root for incubation centers in their respective state.
Just a small humor question. Like, there's a question directed towards March. Why does March sir look so sad? I'm always so happy seeing him happy and sarcastic.
I just saw that comment. That's why I was smiling. I'm not sad. I'm just trying to maintain a straight face.
Yeah. Okay. There is one repeated question related to a confusion with the delegate pass and the networking lounge. So someone's mentioning that in the official IGDC page, they've mentioned the delegate pass will get access to the networking lounge. So can we just, highly targeted on this question, answer that?
So let me tell you this. So the networking lounge, like Sridhar told you earlier, there is no limits on that, right? But there are lounges that are specific to the app. That will be restricted, like Manish said. That's how we differentiate it. So there's a networking app that will give access to certain category particular premium AAA, and for that we'll have specific networking app lounges. But we are creating enough spaces and lounges for anybody and everybody in the conference to meet with each other.
Yeah.
Can I simplify this? Very simple. Common meeting areas are called network lounge. There will be a VIP lounge where the VIPs will sit. What Macha has done to simplify, when four people sit and meet and chat, they're networking. So all meeting areas are called network lounge to make it simple. There will be a separate name given prefix for the placeholder VIP where they will not have access.
Got it. Also, one question is, are the prices for the passes expected to continue rising in the future editions, or is this a one-time adjustment with the delegate pass?
It's an airline pricing.
Okay. All right.
As simple as that. By now, closer to the event price will be higher.
Okay. Got it.
So go.
And the point is that the reality is, at the end of the day, while we want to support as many people as possible, there's going to be limited number of people we can take at the end of the day. So if you want, buy your ticket early, because at some point we will stop selling tickets. If that happens, then that's it.
That is one reason, guys, as you would have organized even your small events, there we have to give a certain commitment to people who are providing services to us. And if we can't estimate any kind of real-time footfalls, means they charge us higher. And this is not an agency which is doing it or brands doing it. It is all of us doing it together. So if you don't make decisions now, it hampers our ability to do commitments. And if we have to pay more, Who is going to fund it? You only have to fund it. So it's very simple. The more planned and structured we are, the more easier it is for Machaya and all of us to manage our life.
Yeah.
Because we also have day jobs, and this is what we are trying to do. Help us in not having last minute blood pressure. Shri and I are not getting younger.
Yeah. And let's also talk a little bit about, while some of the prices have increased, how does that translate to added value at the conference for exhibitors and attendees?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How does IGDC plan to ensure the increased cost that translates to additional value for the exhibitors and attendees?
First of all, it's not increased. I don't know where that information is actually
It's actually
being
slashed, yeah.
slashed by half, right? The prices used to be 3,000 on the lower side and used to be 6,000 on the higher side, right? So we made it 1,500, and we give you option to eat whatever you want. There's going to be a awesome spread. Pick whatever you want, very reasonably priced, right? So yeah, I mean, I think if anything, we've lowered the prices.
Yeah.
So I think the confusion might be coming from, the booths. There is some talk about booth prices being high, but that also only went up by about 25%. That's because what happened is we have limited space in the expo. So there's only so many of regular exhibitor booths can be there. So we had to have a minimum cutoff there. But we're fact that we are giving 40 to 50 indie tables free for anybody who wants to showcase there. It's free, and compared to last year, the price on indie or the exhibitor section is only 20-25%.
Yeah.
And also on booths, if all of you who are regular at IGDC, you want to go and secure your prices for next 3 years, I'm sure Macha will be Santa Claus and will give you some discounts.
Yeah. Also, there's a
just talk to him nicely, and he's a very sweet guy.
Also, there's a question related to giveaway. In one of the years at IGDC, we had actually given away a PS5. So, is there any giveaway planned for this year? Because there is one question on that part. Or if not,
Yeah, so I think
Open request to Sony to sponsor it.
Yeah, so go ahead, send us requests. What do you want? The chat is active for 15 more minutes, I'm assuming. So tell us what you want. We'll see if we can make it happen.
Fantastic. So, guys, if you want any request,
Sridhar is the Santa Claus. His name is changed.
So, guys, request your giveaways for this year's IGDC, and we'll try to make it happen. No promises, no guarantees, but we'll definitely try our level best. And now let's talk a little bit about a fantastic initiative at IGDC repeatedly every year, which is Women in Games. It's a very unique and very important initiative. So can we have a little bit of an introduction about Women in Games and what's been planned this year for Women in Games?
March, you want to go?
Okay, so I'll just give you a little bit of history and context also, right? We used to always do a Women in Games lunch at IGDC, and a couple of years ago, we realized we used to flock in room for lunch, and then everybody else but women used to be there because there wasn't enough space for lunch. So we turned it around after 1 year and said, let's make a Women in Games session itself. And that really created a very interesting phenomenon because we got some industry leaders, actually from 99 Games, Chavan from Lakshya, to head this whole thing. And we opened on the floor to all the women there. It was a closed group session. And the kind of things that women started talking about in terms of challenges, in terms of growth, made us realize that we as a community builder industry body need to focus more on improving the diversity in our industry, right? Like a report last year said there are 41 to 46% of gamers in India are women. And we looked at the developer community and said, hey, with this 12%, that's not a good number to be at. And how can we improve it? So last year, for example, 95% of panels at IGDC had a women representative. We came out with a Women of the Year award, which was never there until last year. We continued that this year. And then we went on to build local community chapters for Women in Games from Jedi. We've built that community to 1,000 plus people already in the last 12 months. We've had 6 meetups across different cities. The last one in Bangalore, we had 100 plus people, just posted at Google. And this year again, we were doing the Women in Games session, but we're doing it as a more community building and not really a panel session, because that will also give people like there are multiple panel sessions happening at IGDC, at least about 7 halls. We don't want people to miss out on some great content in the other rooms. So on day 2 evening before the awards, after the last session finishes and before the awards, we're blocking an entire hall for all the women to meet up, meet with each other, get insights, break up into like multiple team building kind of activities. And that's something that's being planned like this year. And we hope that the community just starts to grow from there.
Wow. That's fantastic. Also, let's talk a little bit about the expo. While we have, talked about the expo prices and all, can we just touch base a little bit about what would be new in the expo halls? While, of course, the space is limited and it's very less right now, but what can be expected from the expo hall this year?
I'll just take this. We've made the layout in a way that, like one of the feedback was there were certain pockets so that people didn't even reach. So we made the layout a little more open, created more aisle space. We do something called Game Jam titles, which most people weren't aware of. We've tried to put them in a prominent position so that everybody gets to see them next to the indies. These are basically school kids between 6 to 16 years that take part. We work with the company called ICT, and these are selected across age groups, and they make their own games, and they get to showcase at IGDC. Our indie initiative team will also work with them to help them understand what they build and what they can do better. Because catch them young and make them grow, right? And there's no better age than age group of 6 to 16. So that's an initiative that's got a really nice space at the expo this year. We are the Indie 40, of course, like I told you. And the spotlight stage, we've also moved it in a different location so that all parts of the venue can really view them and not constrict them to a corner. Just some of the changes that we've done from a layouting perspective itself so that the experience gets better. That's one of the things that we've done. Sridhar, Manish, you want to add anything else?
No, I mean that sounds about right. It's at the end of the it's a B2B event, right? We want developers to meet other developers, and learn from each other, right? And also, maybe if you want access to certain talent which you don't have, or you want access to funding, that's our goal, B2B. Eventually, we would probably have some sort of B2C element. And in Hyderabad, we used to collaborate with the DreamHack and Comic-Con and a few others. That will eventually come to Chennai too, where we will make sure parallelly we have B2C stuff going on. But our focus is going to be networking opportunity for developers.
Yeah. There's a very...
Sorry, Nikhil.
Yeah.
If there are any ideas to make Expo this time better, different, please do share with Machaya, because if we can take it into planning stage for next 2-3 weeks, we will try to do that.
Yeah. And can we share a feedback email ID for people that can reach out to that IDs for sharing all the feedback?
I mean, the email IDs are online, but you should be just able to post on any of our social channels, right? Go and comment on us, and we'll respond.
Fantastic.
Machaya, there is an ID, right?
We have all our contacts on the website. We normally send like a feedback form after the event, but
why don't we
all our
create
contacts,
one?
we also have, we have contact us, info@indiagdc.com. You can write to us. It's there on the website as well. We also have a form for you to fill on the website for any inquiry. We answer all inquiries within 24 hours. We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Nikhil, you can probably just post it in the chat.
Yeah, I've written down the feedback email ID. So it's info@indiagdc.com, guys. Go ahead, share all your feedback on this email ID. There's a question related to Waves finalists. Now, there's a comment over here by Exity. Waves finalists were to be given booth space and pass. We received a pass, and that's amazing. But assuming no booths this time due to change in location, but do we plan a booth for Waves next year?
No,
that's not true. So the top 3 winners at Waves Game Jam have got a table each. The top 10 winners have got tickets to come to IGDC.
Okay. Fantastic. So guys, the top 10 winners of Waves Game Jam will get free tickets to IGDC, guys. So I hope that clears out the confusion. Now,
however, Nikhil, if anybody from the Waves Game Jam is looking for tables, we are working with the Ministry for Information Broadcasting to see if they could, take up some space, and we'll keep all of them posted on what's happening on that day.
Fantastic. Now, also let's talk about the expo rates. The expo rates have increased. So, can we talk a little bit about why the expo rates have increased this year?
Yeah, as I said, we have limited space, and we've only increased by 25%, right? It's not like it went up by a lot. But then that said, we are giving away, apart from the prize winners like Waves Game Jam guys or BYOG guys or Indie 40, where a lot of booth space is given away for free, right? So while we do that, we monetize that space by, by giving some exhibitors at a premium, which is, as I said, is only been 20-25% more.
Yeah.
So it's not, hasn't been high at all.
Yeah.
Again, repeating the principle for indies, guys, do not, if you have any issues, please talk to Machayan team. This event is absolutely created for you to come and learn, to showcase, so that you meet publishers, investors, and other talent. If there is a price which is a barrier, please talk to Macha. They will figure it out how to really accommodate. For the companies which have the wherewithal to pay, we request them to come and take booth space so that this event can be self-sustainable. Otherwise, it becomes difficult for the event economics to work.
Fair enough. And people also have some questions about IP Connect. One of the questions that was popping up in the chat was, can we get funded based on a prototype, and what's the general process for IP Connect?
So I can
So
talk
let me
about,
let me take.
Manish, go ahead. Manish, go ahead.
Yeah. Guys, funding, I'll give you a very simple thing. Funding can happen on your story. Funding can happen on your prototype. Funding can happen on your data. It's a question is how well, how confident you are communicating your desire, your vision, your story. So do not have there is no formula. I have funded and I have got funded last 15 years. That's what I've been doing. So do not think that it is a prototype. I make it, I'll get funding, I'll have some alpha launch, beta launch, some data. It's ultimately your ability to convey what your vision, your desire, and the person in front of you should get convinced. So please do not really kind of get caught with any other narrative. That's the only truth, is that 10 minutes in which you have that person captive is the person believes that you can make money for him or her.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that note, let me talk about what is actually happening at Investor Publisher Connect, which, as you guys know, is one of the flagship event during IGDC, where we pick like about 150 odd gaming startups and try to get them in front of as many investors, as many publishers as possible. There are going to be about 50 to 55 investors and publishers this year, curated. Some top international publishers are here, as well as some local ones. They're going to be basically about two kinds of meetings. Usually curated meetings, which is basically if you, the selected startups who are part of our list, and if you haven't already registered for that, you have time till Diwali, but sooner the better to register. And send out your decks, and assuming the team goes through it, then they will get those decks in front of as many investors and publishers as possible, and they'll pick if they want to have that meeting with you, right? So that's the one kind of meeting where it's curated. The second one is it's like almost a speed dating kind of thing. We call it speed pitch, where we do literally thousands of one-on-one meetings, with 5-minute pitch time, right? So you can present to 20 or 40 odd people in a day, and get a lot of exposure, right? So those are the two kinds of things. The selected startups who are part of this process will have a sessions where on presentation, on design, fundraising, so we have organized about 3 to 4 different sessions. So if you have registered, you will get those invites, so that you can join and learn from legal to fundraising to everything, including how to present your deck, right? So all of that is going to happen way before IGDC, so that you're prepared for those 3 days, so that you can make the most out of it. Now, if you are indies, and you are not been selected there, you can probably still be selected through Indy 40 initiative, where about 8 odd startups are going to be shortlisted and will be allowed to present to the investors. So there are various initiatives happening there.
Yeah. Also, a very, very important question that's being asked by Yash Kaushik is that, last year there was only a 5 ampere power socket that was provided to some of us, while a lot of people had bought gaming PCs. So, how are we addressing that this year?
I'll answer this. So when we plan an expo layout, right, we have to plan how much power is going to be needed to distribute across the entire expo area. Now, in the expo area, for example, if you've noticed, there is a indie zone. There are multiple different booths of multiple different sizes. Now, a 3 meter by 2 meter booth, standard measurement in India is given a 5 amp plug point, 5 amp power. If you take an optimum stall, for example, 4 lights, one.
Mache, are you going to solve it or not? That's the question.
No, so the thing is, if you want extra power, you can always reach out to us. We will tell you how much power. We have to calculate the power load because it goes back to generator again. So tell us how much power you need and get back to us.
No, let's solve for it. Let's solve for it. Do not get into maths calculations of electric consumption. Please budget and we'll solve it.
You make sure people are going to have 2 large PCs, per table.
So you assume that and you work on it. Let's not make this about electric power consumption maths. Everybody will then become a power engineer from a game developer.
Manish sir, I have a next question for you. Why are people listening GDAI as Jedi? Is the theme of IGDC based on Star Wars?
This is the conspiracy of the board members. And Mr. Sridhar is the architect of that. So yes, we are all fans, and that's why we kept it like that.
Yeah, just
the theme of IGDC.
Yeah.
It's not a theme of IGDC. It's the theme of, guys, your own association. That is Game Developer Association of India, Jedi. So yes, and the spirit and the story, Sridhar, please tell.
No, I mean, yes, I'm a huge fan of both Star Wars and Star Trek. If one of the members or one of the volunteers has come up with the idea when we were like, hey, what do we call ourselves? Game Developer Association of India. Cool, but can we pronounce it as Jedi instead of Gedai, right? I mean, it totally makes sense because obviously we are all Jedi at the end of the day, right? We are, we're magicians creating this cool stuff, on our PCs and computers, and so yeah. I mean, it just made sense, right? So it stuck,
Okay, a lot of people.
To all the magicians, Nikhil, this is for all the magicians in India, and we have to create global magic.
Yeah, creating global magic with IGDC. Another idea for a tagline, sir. Yeah. Okay. A lot of people are concerned about the accommodation situation at IGDC. So can we shed a little bit of light on what hotels could be recommended for IGDC attendees?
Much.
So what we did is we have a bunch of hotels that we've tied up with. These are hotels from premium hotels to very budget friendly. So if you go on the website, it's indegdc.com/hotels. We actually have a helpline where people, I think 80 odd people have already applied for these budget friendly hotels, and our team is actually reaching to them phone and they getting them hotels on their choice of budgets. We have those questions, so we filter it down. We call everybody, and everybody's already been helping with their choice of hotels. We also have some premium hotels that we've tied up with, so it's on the website. And the budget-friendly hotel, we just want to make it easier for people instead of them trying to find like a dozen of hotels. We just thought we will have a roster and we will have a help desk that will actually reach out to every single person who applies for hotels and help them out with the whole experience.
Yeah. And in terms of the numbers, a lot of people are kind of curious about what is going to be the estimated turnout this year.
At the moment, we still think it's going to be 5,000. It's on the way.
5,000 per day across 3 days. We'll have 15-20,000 people coming in, and that's what we really look at. But as I mentioned before, our TN community is really going great guns. We are expecting different cities of TN to come. So I'm wanting to really create more attendees, more footfalls in this edition than the previous ones. Second, Machai team is talking to all Jedi chapter. Please, those who are listening, those who are not listening, solicit, evangelize guys to come from your respective states. This is really an opportunity. I have learned, Shri has learned from GDCs, from IGDCs. Don't miss this opportunity to learn from the best. That's why the tickets are really, really low. We are working very hard to get the best prices and discounts from the hotels. So the more and more people should come in. So we want to really, my personal goal is that like when you go to China and you see 50,000, 100,000 developers in one place, this needs to become like that. And we need to fill bigger stadiums than Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore. So that's what I really want to see, because we have so much of developer talent. We have the opportunity for people to learn. And this can only happen. Again, I'm repeating like a stuck record. If our state chapters really kind of take a target upon themselves, that we will have 100 people coming from UP, we have 200 people coming from Maharashtra, 400 people coming from X, it'll happen.
So just spread the word, guys, right? At the end of the day, we have amazing lineup of speakers, right? Some of the best game designers out there in the world, best art directors out there in the world. They're going to be there for 3 full days, captive, wanting to spend time with you, where you can learn from them, interact with them. We're going to have like a lot of exclusive roundtable setup where you can be part of those one-on-one sessions with them, right? It's not going to be like, oh, there's going to be a stage where 300 people are going to walk up to the speaker. It's going to be like 10 people on a table. So there's like some amazing initiatives where you get to spend captive time with these guys who achieved so much, right? So as Manish said, spread the word out there. Try, because the reason we do this event once a year at this scale is because we want to make sure everyone, smaller developers who nobody has heard of, come in and get discovered, right? So take this opportunity to spread the word. If we don't know them, make sure they know what IGDC is, so that they come and get discovered, that they find it useful.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to wrap up in the next 5 minutes. While we do that, there are a few, rapid fire questions that we'll take. One question is from Kushal Baid, who is very concerned about can people under 21 participate in IGDC Mixer? Because it's mentioned on the website that they can't.
Yeah, you cannot. Sorry.
Okay. Manisha, you want to say something? I saw. So you're on mute.
I'm saying if you're a hustler, then this question is not relevant. What kind of question you are asking? It's like, teacher, can I go and do XYZ?
So Kushal, I hope you got your answer, and you are a hustler enough. So I hope you get the hint. There is one more question. What is the procedure for game showcasing?
So the 2 initiatives, right? There is obviously the indie initiatives where you get spotlighted, as well as you can be part of that, or the other is Investor Publisher Connect, where you can be part of that and get exclusive meetings with publishers and investors. These are the 2 initiatives you have. The other thing is, the way I've seen a lot of developers do, and we've done it, is just have your game on your iPhone or iPad or Android phone, whatever it is, or even PC. Just find somebody who wants to see it, who wants to play it, right? And get feedback. So, that's the stepping stone. And even if you don't know somebody, just ask for help, right? There will be folks walking around with the IGDC volunteer logo. Just find one of those and say, hey, can you introduce me to somebody relevant, somebody important? So even if you're shy, you don't know how to talk to people, don't worry about that. Most of us have started that way. We'll get you somebody to help, mentor, and so on.
Yeah.
See, we are in an attention economy. You need to figure out how to get some attention. Wear some funky stuff. Do whatever is needed to done to catch your attention of people. If people are looking at you, you have got your first break. Think of it. You want to get attention of the most beautiful girl in your college. How would you try to do that if you're shy? Think, this is how it is. that will take you to speed dating. You've got 10 minutes of yours. If speed dating works, then your life opens. So get attention, guys. Get attention. Make it funky. Make it like it's not a it's you have to shine among 15,000 people who are coming. So think, how will you do it?
And I think we'll wrap up with one last question, and I think this is a very important one, which is to do with there's a comment actually from Siddharth Patel, and given the recent situation, I think this is a very important question to answer this year. He's mentioned that I hope there are no RMG games this year. So can we talk a little bit on that part?
I have a question for Siddharth. What is RMG companies now? After government has banned all of them, where are the RMG companies existing? If he can really help us to understand, it becomes easy, because the only gaming play in the town is online social games. Is that what the terminology is? Right?
Yeah.
It's a more a governmental name. We are still video games and conventional video games. So the government just wanted to create a distinction so that they can clearly define based on business models. So just as Manish said, there's no RMG anymore, right? India doesn't allow it. It's completely banned, in every form out there. So if you are saying, hey, somebody who's been in RMG, are they gonna be there? Why not? But if you are, if you are RMG, you're illegal in India, so they're not going to be there, obviously.
So long story short, guys, no RMG games at IGDC this year. And, we would love to answer more and more questions, but unfortunately we are short on time. Please go ahead, follow IGDC and Jedi across all social media platforms, and feel free to drop by your questions as comments or DMs or emails as well. We will try our level best to answer you guys. And with that in mind, I would like to wrap this session up. Over to you guys. Any parting thoughts from your side, guys?
I don't care. Come to IGDC, have fun.
Fantastic. Much?
Well, actually, go ahead, Much.
Yeah.
Nothing. I just hope to see a larger contingent like this this year. I've had lots of fun putting this together the last 4 years. And I'm just excited that we're moving to new cities, so new experiences, creating something really nice this year.
Fantastic.
I just saw a comment from Yash Agarwal, talking about being 16-year-old and coming from Varanasi. That's very exciting, Yash. This is, we hope we're going to make it worthwhile for you. Find one of us. We'll get you some intros. Okay? Yeah. Cool. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Chennai.
Yeah. Fantastic, guys. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and this was an Ask Me Anything About IGDC session on my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys found this session valuable. If you did, hit the like button. If you're finding my channel for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss out on my next videos. And we hope to see you all at IGDC. So yeah, I game, I don't care. All right, bye guys.